Hey guys, it's Robin. Thanks for tuning in. All right, well, I hope everyone's having a good time. I want to start off today by talking about a Christmas idea. This is particularly for children kind of in the grade 2 to 4 kind of range, even more specifically for boys. I know for a lot of parents and grandparents, that was a really hard age to find for, especially if they didn't want to get, video games or a lot of the real standard things. I know when I worked in the game store last year, I got so many requests for that sort of thing. And one of the ones that actually had someone come back and say that it worked out really well was a game by Game Right Games called Knock Your Block Off. Make sure I spelled that right. I did that right. Um, Everyone gets a set of, let me just check, I believe it's six. Yes, six little cubes, and on them they have different shapes. Some of them are all one solid color, some are white, some are a mix of that. You go as fast as you can to try to construct some sort of castle with them. So either like a tall, like all six on top of each other, or a three lying down, or a three on the ground. The first person to do that puts their little crown on top and grabs the dice. When you get the dice, you get to roll them. You can either get a throwing, a flicking, or a dropping, and you try to break the other person's castle. If you knock their block off, which is the little crown, you get victory points. However, there are certain bonuses you get depending on what kind of castle you constructed. This is an awesome game, not only because children of that age love the build, and they also love the smash stuff, which is one of the ways I, I sold it. It's also really good because of the shapes, and they have to match the colors, right? So it works on spatial awareness and reasoning and puzzles and all these sort of things all put together. Speed as well. Really cool game. Yeah, Knock Your Block Off by Game Right Games. So totally check that one out if you can find it. It's not in a lot of stores though. You'd have to probably go to a more specialty toy store. I don't even know if a Toys R Us would have it. Probably more of like your community toy store to check it out. Or of course, order it on the interwebbing. Some other news or other things happening. A big one, or sort of a big thing that I thought was very interesting that came out just a couple days ago. Team Dignitas, which I'm sure lots of you League of Legends people are familiar with, their jungler, who goes by the name I Will Dominate, has been suspended 1 year from playing any competitive League of Legends play, and all of his accounts have been banned. And if I read the article correctly, permanently banned. Apparently, he went to tribunal 9 times and was convicted not only by all of us gamers, but also by like the League of Legends staff 8 of the 9 times. Very interesting. In a lot of sports, the pro players or the big stars, they never get punished. I mean, how often do you see in football or in hockey where that illegal hit by that big player seems to get a game suspension or a fine, where the lonely Joe workaday guy gets like a month, or a huge suspension. So good on Law for doing that. I think that's very interesting. Interesting to see how that will affect Dignitas. Now, luckily, it's between seasons, so there's not a lot of play right now. So I'm sure they have a backup jungler or someone else, or they can pinch someone from another team that will join that. But an interesting little thing. Speaking of some more esports, I was checking my Twitter the other day, and Liquid TLO, who some of you StarCraft fans might be familiar with, he's a well-known player around the world, tweeted that he was going to be on Daily Planet. Daily Planet is a show on Discovery Canada that deals with like science type issues, particularly things with technology and how it will change our society and that sort of thing. It was the December 3rd edition, so if you go onto the Daily Planet website, go to their videos and look for December 3rd. It's a second one in a three-part, I believe, near the end of the second one in a three-part. And what they were looking at essentially was they were looking at APM and decision-making, particularly reaction time for players who play StarCraft. At Simon Fraser University, they're doing a study and they're seeing how those skills, what the brainwaves are like, different functions, how different maps affect different things, how they can be transferable to teaching people who do a variety of skilled, both time-related skilled activities and also things that take precision, things like surgery and that sort of thing. So check that out. It's very interesting to see StarCraft get that kind of promotional on a show like that, and to see that's getting into some sort of heavy science type thing. Some people say, how come they didn't interview Huck or somebody else since it was a Canadian show, but I guess maybe TLO is being used for the study. And he's just trying to teach the reporter to play StarCraft. It was quite funny. The guy won somehow against easy bots. I guess TLO really had to pull him through because he was an absolutely terrible player. It hadn't looked like he had played any kind of PC gaming ever in his life. All right, to wrap up this show, I wanted to do a new poll question this week since I answered last week's one. I think actually we'll leave this one up for maybe even 2 weeks this time, maybe a little longer than normal. But I wanted to ask your Christmas shopping. I just mentioned how, people go to a store and get a game or they can go online. So I want to know, how are you doing most of your Christmas shopping? So are you doing it mostly the traditional way of just going to the store and, buying it? Are you doing it mostly online, or is it somewhat sort of a balance in between? And I'll let you know kind of how my Christmas shopping has gone this year. And yeah, until I talk to you then on Wednesday next week, so say we all.